Ladies and gentlemen, with me at this time, making his return to PWR Slam, I present to you Volatile Curtis Wylde.
That's exactly right. How's everybody doing?
Hey.
Hey, honey.
Hey, we're good. Hey, brother, we're good. How you doing, man?
Now, I know everybody's excited to hear from me. I know everybody wants to talk to me. So let's go one at a time, guys.
No problem, honey. It's all good.
So let's catch up. What was the hiatus about?
The hiatus, we had some station issues. We got that worked out. We're on a brand new, we're off Blog Talk Radio completely. We are now using the same professional audio broadcasting software that a lot of other studios use. So we'd like to thank MassDab for the new partnership. We will be with MassDab for the next year. That contract went into effect today. So we will be with them for the next year. But Curtis, you've got some big things coming up. One of the things that I definitely want to talk to you about, it doesn't have to be right away, but during your segment, is you are going to Heroes and Legends 5.
Absolutely. Looking forward to a good time. There's a whole lot of legendary people and some of my childhood heroes, hence the name Heroes and Legends.
Yeah.
Doing a great thing with that. It's July 25th. It's going to be kind of an all-day thing. And me and Sean Vincent are taking our feud that's growing bitter at this point. We're going to take it to Indiana, and Fort Wayne is going to see exactly what SICW has to offer in the form of Sean Vincent versus Curtis Wylde. We're going to call it Wylde Vincent 3.
Wow.
Oh, there we go.
Now, this is a feud that has been brewing, ladies and gentlemen. We talked about this the last time Curtis Wylde was on. This is a feud that has been brewing for many, many years. So this will be the third match in the installment, and if you are in the Indiana area, you definitely want to check out Heroes and Legends on Wrestling on Facebook, because this is going to be a show that you are not going to want to miss. Jason Maples has been on this program before to promote Heroes and Legends. Some of the best wrestling shows that you and fan fests that you can go to, the best one in the Midwest. The absolute best one in the Midwest. There are many others that will try to imitate it, but there is only one Heroes and Legends, and they blow everybody else out of the water.
Yeah, man, I'm glad to be a part of it. I mean, it's a huge thing that he does, and it just so happened that this is Heroes and Legends 5, and it was almost 5 years that I stepped away from the ring. So to be able to come back and to be able to demonstrate what I can do to those fans and that crowd and those legends is a good thing. Looking forward to it.
Well, we'll get into what was supposed to be your segment. I don't know what's going on. I have heard reports that Powerhouse Wrestling is not canceled for July 18th, but I can tell everybody this. When I called the building, I believe it was yesterday, might have been Monday, they told me that Powerhouse Wrestling for July 18th was off. We do know that one of their students posted on his Facebook that the July 18th show had been canceled, and he doubted that Powerhouse would be coming back. Now I'm hearing other reports, so I don't know. I'm wishing the best for Tim because, you know, I've got respect for the man, but at the same time, if you're pulling this crap of the show's on, it's off, now it's back on again, it looks bad.
That's not cool. Come on.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
I mean, you got to let
do
the fans know exactly what they're getting, and you can't hem haw on that. You got to be direct and give them what you tell them you're going to.
Right.
I mean, it's you know, the thing that I didn't understand about all of it, Curtis, was he was drawn in Streeter, so there wasn't. It's not like the fans weren't there. But the one thing that dawned on me when I was having a conversation with Steve Kane is all three of the last shows, and I'm not knocking Tim for this, but all three of the last shows have been benefits. So you're not bringing a lot of money in either. So is that a factor of maybe why the show was canceled in the first place, or what could possibly have been the reason? I'm not going to call Tim a shitty promoter. Don't anybody misconstrue this for that.
Yeah.
But there are some flaws here that have to be pointed out if Tim wants to be successful, especially when he's got a backyard organization gunning for him at 90 miles an hour and watching for him to make a mistake. Because I can guarantee you, the moment that they caught wind of this show being canceled, they plastered it everywhere they could.
Yeah. Let me touch on that in three different ways. One, you probably never thought you'd hear this, but I'm going to come to the defense of Tim Wylde and say that the benefits could have been paid shows. Nonprofit CEOs are making millions of dollars and they're working for a nonprofit, so those could have been, situations where somebody paid them a certain amount of money to come in, hoping that they would raise more money than they gave them, in a sponsorship situation. Two, if who they need to be looking over their shoulder at there is a backyard organization, then they really don't need to be doing whatever it is they're going to be doing. If that's their competition that's nipping at their heels, then they just need to call it a day, hang the hat up, and walk away. But on the third tip of what I'd like to get into is if it's July 18th and many fans are uncertain or unsure about what's going to go on with that event, all they've got to do is come on down to East Carondelet, and I'll be wrestling at SICW. You can check that out at SICW.org.
And there you have it, folks. I went to the last Powerhouse show, and I've got to be honest when I say it did not live up to my expectations. He's got that working relationship with 01 USA. There's some good talent down there, and there's some bad talent down there. And what I saw did not, there was some good in it, but not so much good that, when your opening match starts off as shit, it sets the pace for a bad show. And it was not just my opinion that the show was bad. It was a couple other people's that it wasn't. It was missing something. There was just. But if he's drawing, then that's fine. I wish the man well. But you are definitely tearing things up down in SICW, and you're definitely making waves down there. But you're also branching out again. And the funny thing is, not a lot of fans know that you used to wrestle in Indiana back in the day. There is another side to Curtis Wylde, formerly Wild Child, that we can't forget about. That traveled up and down roads into Michigan, probably Wisconsin, all over the Midwest and beyond, because this is something that you wanted to do. And I'm going to attest to this. There were promoters that did not want to book you because of this reason or because of that reason. I can remember you showing up to an RCW show and trying to get your foot in the door down there, and Jay kind of laughing it off.
That was the time that I almost got into a fight with CM Punk. So yeah, that didn't go so well.
I think I've heard that name somewhere before.
But there were.
He throws his fists up to communicate instead of talking to people.
But there were promoters that would not book Curtis, and even WWA, when you were brought into the fold there, there were some remarks made by a couple of people there that, well, he's still out of shape. What is he really going to bring to the table? And I knew it because I was a fan of yours from the moment that I saw you back in Powerhouse. I just happened to stop through Spring Valley, and Tim happened to be running the show that night, so I bought tickets and came back, and there you were.
Well, I've got 2 words to say to all those critics back then that, he's out of shape, blah, 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 he doesn't have the body that everybody else does. One, there's nothing wrong with being different. And the 2 words that I have is Dusty Rhodes.
Thank you.
Boom. Boom.
I mean, the thing about you was, even though you didn't have the look that everybody wanted, you could work, and you could work a crowd, which not a lot of people could do. People could work, but nobody could come out there and get on a mic and get the crowd behind them, what little or big crowd there may have been, other than WC. And that's what we used to call him back in Wicked, Dub C.
Yep.
He had an aura about him that everybody just liked. And
well, like I said with my Tough Enough video, the second Tough Enough video, after I got some stage-like advice from somebody who told me to scrap the first one and iron some things out, so I did. And my second Tough Enough submission, I said, you can't teach charisma and you can't buy an X Factor.
No.
Yeah, and you can't.
Believe that. I truly believe that. I mean, I wouldn't be in this business if I didn't feel that I offer something different than everyone else. And I may never have that cookie-cutter body. I may never be chiseled from stone. But there's not an audience that you could put me in front of that is not going to go home remembering what I did that night.
Now, I've talked about bringing you up here for some other promotions, and I've passed your stuff along to other promoters that I know, and they go, well, why is he worth this amount of money? I said, because anybody that you can book locally cannot get on a microphone and have the same charisma that he's going to have. I said, he's just got that spark. I said, if you go out there and give him a microphone and give him free reign of what to say, you've got gold in a bottle.
Yep.
Well, I appreciate the kudos, man, and I hope that it's been well earned over the years.
You can't. You're seeing this with Tough Enough. Well, what makes you a WWE superstar? And half of them can't even answer it. Some of them haven't even seen WWE programming.
Yeah.
But they're going to give these guys.
That's the other advantage that I have is that I've always been a student of the game. So you can have bodybuilders all day long, and they're simply not going to have the knowledge that I have. You can have
That's exactly it.
That have been wrestling for 15 years, but they've only wrestled once a month, and there was a time for about 2 years straight that I was wrestling 3 times a weekend, every weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, different states, and you can't compete with that type of experience. And guys don't understand now what I did then, but I appreciate that there's guys out there like you that still kind of keep that memory alive.
Well, it wasn't. And it wasn't just because you were charismatic. It was because you knew that I was young in the business. I mean, Benito and Mel and Nick Logan took a risk on training me. I was 12 or 13 when I started training. Probably one of the youngest kids to ever start training in Illinois. I know that there's never been somebody younger than me to this day.
Yeah, that wasn't legal, by the way.
Right.
Exactly. Guys like you and Freedom, even though I was young and you didn't really agree with it, you went along with it and were willing to stop and take an interest in me and show me how to lock up. And, even though I might not have debuted for 4 years later, I was still getting the fundamentals down, so I had the fundamentals down before I had anything else down, which was of key importance. Because we talked about it with Les Thatcher earlier. I go to independent shows and guys don't even walk up. And I'm like, well, fuck, what did I spend my money on? Is this a spot show or what? I don't mind a good spot wrestling match every now and again. But if the whole show spots, I'm not entertained.
Bingo.
Exactly right.
What are you
It's
gonna do?
It's just a ballet demonstration. With
Yep.
bumps. I mean, what you were talking about, that all comes back to my love for wrestling, man, and that's why I kind of got a reputation along the line of maybe being difficult in some respects, because if I saw something that looked horrible, I would say that looks horrible, and I just couldn't keep that to myself, and still to this day can't.
You were there for this, so finally I can get this funny story out, because you were there for this, and I know you were there when the guy was there and training with Benito. I've been trying to tell this story on PWR since the whole time we've been on. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get the story from Curtis Wylde, who was there when Chris Sins legitimately almost broke the arm of Sin.
Yeah, that legit happened, and he got out of the ring, and that was during the Battle Royal, right?
No, that was before the Battle Royal. That was before we even told him what he was doing. Benito was working with him in the ring, and he's like, lock up with me and give me, the reach around behind the back with the wrist.
Oh, right.
And
yeah. He was just really, really snug to the point of a shoot. So he almost hurt a guy first time in, and then Benito knew that I knew how to take care of myself in a wrestling ring, and I wasn't going to allow myself to be hurt. So he asked me to get in there and give this kid a tryout. Chris Sims was his name, as you mentioned. And I got in there, gave him a tryout, told him, you're not working on this show. The best we can do for you is a Battle Royal, and you're going out first. So that's how that worked out.
He was just, and he lied. He legitimately lied to the people that booked him and told them that he'd been in for like 2 years. And I'm sitting there.
It was just a horrible 2 years. Well, don't laugh too loud, man. I had a horrible couple years too.
Hey, haven't we all had a bad year or so at some point in our careers, man?
That's right.
Well, Steve and Katie, I'm going to let you talk. I got to use John real quick because we've been on air for a while, and I got to go before my bladder explodes.
Go. Run. No, Jesus. That's why you peed before the show.
No Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
He's just not prepared.
Sean can't hold his liquor anymore, which, considering he doesn't drink, that's hilarious. Oh gosh. Okay. So how's everything been going down in SICW since the last time we had you on? God, seems like forever and 2 days ago.
Yeah, it was earlier this year or late last year, something like that. Things are going great. I mean, SICW is a great place to work, and you could go a lot of places in this nation, but you're not going to have Cowboy Bob Orton sitting ringside, being able to give you pointers in the locker room, of the intricacies of a man with that level of experience. I said sage advice earlier, and we have sage advice in a bottle in our locker room. I mean, it's not just him. We got Gary Jackson, we've got Flash Flanagan, we've got Son Powers, a whole lot of guys that have a whole lot of experience, and you just can't get that kind of a locker room anywhere else in the Midwest. That's why I'm pretty content. I mean, I can do what I do at SICW, and I'm still on TV, and I'm still doing the star thing, doing the VIP thing, and rolling like only Wild Child, only Curtis Wylde can roll.
Yep, absolutely. And of course, with Brent, and now it's his dad that's the promoter for that, Bob, right?
Oh, no, the promoter is Herb Simmons. Bob Orton is actually the director of affairs. So he's kind of the general manager, so to speak, and lay down the law from time to time. He's the sheriff in town.
Okay. Well,
so there's a new sheriff in town then.
Well, yeah, as of about, I guess, 4 months ago or so, Bob came on board full time, and he's, been a great benefit in the locker room, and it's really helpful to have guys like that there for me.
Wow.
SICW is a great place. Like I've told you guys before, it's what Wrestling at the Chase evolved into.
Right.
To the point where Larry Matisic is still has a whole lot of input into the process and how things go.
Right. And for those of you that don't know, Wrestling at the Chase...
Larry's not doing super great right now. I want to throw a shout-out to Larry Matisic and send all the positivity and prayers that you can out there for him.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we want to send our thoughts and wishes to Larry Matisic.
Yeah.
We definitely, Wrestling at the Chase, for those of you that don't know, was Sam Munchnick's territory. And that is a legendary territory. Some of the greatest names in professional wrestling have gone through that area in St. Louis. So definitely, if you're in that area and want a quality wrestling company, go check out SICW because they're one of the best.
They absolutely are. They absolutely are. You can find them, like I said, on the web, sicw.org. You can always check out my website because I let you know exactly what's going on the Wylde side at curtiswylde.com, curtiswylde.com.
Now, you've primarily been working at SICW, but are doors starting to open anywhere else for you again, or you're looking into other places?
There are doors wide open for me. It's just all kind of in my court. I mean, I really don't want to widen my variety too much. I don't have any delusions of grandeur that I'm going to be working for Vince McMahon anytime soon, and that wasn't my focus when I came back and when I returned to the ring in December. So I really just came back to the ring because I knew that I could still do it, and I appreciate the level that I do it at. And SICW is the top promotion in the St. Louis area, and I'm just glad to be a part of it. But I really don't have any need to go to other organizations. I mean, if somebody has something interesting that they'd like to offer me, I would hear them out. But I'm pretty busy on other weekends, guys. I mean, I got a whole lot of other stuff going on. Right now, we're just leaving a cover girl contest for Full Throttle magazine that Wildfire was part of. And looking forward to her possibly moving on to the finals.
Nice.
Yeah, really. Yeah, because boy, Full Throttle definitely. They don't have they definitely don't have any ugly girls around. That's for doggone sure.
Well, we already know that Wildfire's not ugly. What are you trying to say here, Steve? Gonna make Curtis Wylde.
There, Steve.
Well, of course, then again, how did you have somebody that could Full Throttle would use? That's the first point I got to make.
Let me tell you something. This girl, everything she touches turns to gold. She puts the Saint in St. Louis. Wildfire is the number one gender, and she is a whole another level.
Oh, right.
Well, one of the things that we didn't get into with the last time you were on, and we've got some time left here, you have probably got some of the best road stories out there because you've got to travel with some of the biggest names in the industry and work some of the biggest names in the industry. So we'd like to hear some of those funny stories, you and King Kong Bundy and you and some of the other people that Tim brought in over the years that may or may have not been crazy.
Well,
or may have been crazy by the time they got done dealing with you.
I have learned over the years that when you start name dropping and telling all those road stories, people aren't too quick to create more road stories in front of you. So, I can tell you all kinds of stories about, girls on, my hood while, guys are doing things that they probably shouldn't do to her, and stories about saving guys from advances from other guys in the business. And,
Shit.
I could tell you a whole lot of things, but I'm not going to. I mean,
because Les talked about taking fifth before the show even started tonight.
Well, yeah, I was doing that too. I mean, it was a good time surrounded by beautiful women because Wildfire was there with some other lovely ladies for this contest, and yeah, man, it was a good time. We had some drinks and kicked back, and was just surrounded by beautiful women. It was fabulous.
Yeah,
I bet it was.
Yeah.
I was beautiful.
Yeah.
Hey.
He was in.
And that, guys, is what they call wild.
Yeah, that was wild heaven, I bet.
Yep.
Located right smack in the middle of the wild side.
Woo!
What's interesting to me, and I hope that he doesn't hear this, I hope that Virgil doesn't remember me and him getting into it at Comic-Con one year when I was actually standing up for Tim Lyle and Powerhouse Championship.
Oh, God, yes. Oh, yeah,
Virgil
was... Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Oh my God, that was the day that I completely lost all respect for that man. I mean, I was like, okay, this guy is a dip, and screw him. He was what he was, but he's nothing now. So
exactly. I mean, he was there signing autographs, so
well, I'll give
an autograph from him, but
I'll give him a hell of a lot more credit than I can give Mantar, because at least if you go back and look at Virgil, you can say, well, he was the guy that held the $1 million title for $1 Million Man. You go to Mantar, what can you say about him? Nothing. Oh,
wait, that's all.
Didn't he turn into Bastion Booger?
No.
Different guy.
Different guy.
That was Mike Shaw, right?
Right. Mike Shaw was Bastion Booger.
Was the Shaw, yeah.
Yeah. Mike Halleck was
mad in ECW. Most young kids wouldn't even remember that, but the Shaw was over mad in ECW.
Yeah, he definitely was. No question about it.
I'm digging NXT. I'm digging what they're doing with NXT. You guys been paying attention to that?
Yes. NXT is definitely getting interesting. More faces popping up in NXT, and now you've got Tough Enough too. They completely changed Tough Enough on all of us. I don't know if I like it yet or not. It's only one episode in, so I'm going to hold my judgments, but it's definitely a hell of a lot different than what we've seen before on Tough Enough, where, they're training guys until the point they're puking. Although we did get to see a guy puke last night, so that was pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah, that was on the debut episode. Triple H just walked by and was like, get it out. And Triple H's attitude was exactly like any vet. If any vet would have seen that, they would have said the same exact thing. Get it out. Get it out of your system. That shit's going to happen.
Yep.
Because, you just can't prepare yourself for professional wrestling. You can be a big-time track star, big-time football star, big-time baseball star. But when you get into professional wrestling, it is a whole different universe.
Exactly. The conditioning that you have to do and that to be in wrestling is beyond anything that you can possibly imagine.
Exactly.
I'll tell you what, you can be the strongest man in the world, and you get into that wrestling ring and start bumping around, your body ain't going to be able to handle it. I promise you. You can be the most well-conditioned guy out there, but
you can't get used to car wrecks, and that's just all there is to it. Every time you hit the mat, it's the equivalent of a 30 to 40 mile car wreck. So your body just can't get used to that. Your body can kind of numb to it a little bit, but you're still taking damage, man. I don't care how strong you are.
I tell you what, the two that I worked with in the ring that were the two biggest guys, and I told them, because and you know this, Curtis, and you know this, Steve, and you know this, Katie, I'm 160 pounds soaking wet.
That's right.
I told Jonas, and I told Freight Train Jonas, when I worked both of them, I said, if you're not snug with me, I will shoot on you. I said, because I am a little guy. I said, if you're going to frickin' pick me up, I said, you got to make it look like you're going to kill me. I said, it's not that I won't sell. I said, I'll still sell. But I said, if you're not snug with me, you're going to get some shots back, and you're not going to like the shots that I give back.
Nope.
Because and that's just the way I was taught. You know, you can work
both barrels. Both barrels. He's not going to stop until you know.
You can work light if you know who you're working. Any other time, you need to work snug. And even the people that you know well, you should know well enough to be able to work snug with.
Yep, exactly.
One of the worst men.
Who's the guy that hit him the hardest in the face over and over again? It's probably me.
I'll never forget the you jumping off the ladder, and a couple of people referred to it as the brown streaker, because man, you did that leg drop and landed completely on his head.
Oh my!
I hear that half of his head was bruised for about a week after that.
Yes, it was. I saw Benito and I was like, "What the hell happened to you?" He was like, "Hell on earth." I was like, "Oh, you're still fucked up from that?" I mean, Wylde don't look like that. I was like, you do your job. You walked out with more bruises than he did. And you're the promoter of the company.
Yeah.
That was
and you'd been around longer.
The build up to that and that Hell on Earth match was a good time.
That was a well-written storyline. I just wish there would have been more people there to see it. It was really well written to the point where if the people would have been there to see it, they would have ate it up. Because we used that to launch you to getting the Wicked Championship, and the feuds that you had throughout your time as the Wicked Champion with Kurt Rigsby, and your feud with him and Talon, and you weaponing X Talon in a low-ceiling building, and I thought you were going to put him through the ceiling.
Twice. I weaponed X.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, gosh. Oh, that's funny.
But
that's funny,
if
yeah.
I throw my release German suplex in there, I could probably get the Weapon X off. So.
Yeah, the good thing about Wicked is it developed me to a different type of wrestling. You know, I had seen this hard-hitting, ass-kicking style that was RCW in the day that was just in your face and everywhere, but it was nice to see this step back and kind of a throwback with WWA that was a little bit more old school, because it had the right guys there like you and Sin and Eric Freedom and even Brandon Bishop, who was there in the beginning, to really make it more wrestling related than sports entertainment. Because I'll tell you one thing, WWA never billed one of their shows until the end as family friendly. Because there was no way you could bill Hell on Earth as family friendly. Because you two were just going to go out and beat the shit out of each other.
Well, I like to have a beer bash from time to time after my matches as well, and you got beer flying all over the place. You don't really want the kiddies. It was more of an adult-orientated show, but it was kind of a throwback to old school, maybe Southern style. Maybe a little of the rougher wrestling at the chase moments.
Yeah.
But that was part of what. I mean, you mentioned earlier some of the promoters cold shouldering me. It was because, the Wing of Honor and Combat Zone Wrestling and all of these either really hard-hitting shoot-style promotions or weapons, ultra-violent promotions is what people thought would get over, when really you just had to take it back to an old school time, a time that harkens back to all of us, what we remember about wrestling. So I was just doing a different style than the kids were wanting at that point. And a lot of the kids, unfortunately, that I'm talking about were the promoters that were promoting, because young guys were getting in and promoting and trying to put that product out there. And I was more of an entertainer and less of a strong style saint, so to speak.
Well, and I heard from one promoter one time back during your time in Wicked, well, he's too hardcore. I said, he's hardcore. I said, look at the guys from IWA Mid-South. I said, he ain't nothing compared to them.
Yeah, I mean, that's the Hell on Earth thing kind of shot us in the foot in a certain way, because it did give us kind of a hardcore guys connotation. But we didn't realize that we took like 4 months to build up to that thing, and the fans were behind it. The fans wanted to see it, and I think that there was something that happened. There was only like I want to say 50 people in the audience, but we still gave them the best show that we could, and we didn't defer what we put on the table, whether it was 50 people or 50,000. We were still going to go out there and spill our hearts in the ring.
Now, and you got to work with some great names in Wicked. There was, and not a lot of people know this, but I do have the inside scoop with this. The original plan was to make Jerry Lynn the WWA champion and to have you have a run with Jerry.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I kind of regret. One of those ones that got away is the fact that I wasn't able to do that thing with Jerry, because we were going to feud for the Wicked title for a period of time.
Wow. Oh, hey, I got a message for you, and you may know who this is from just when I read it to you. He says to tell you that he's glad that Fatkin's diet never worked out.
That what?
The Fatkins diet never worked out.
Gabe?
You got it. Bingo.
For a guy that's been in the head a bunch of times, he's got a pretty decent memory.
Oh, man.
The phrase that he started in WWA, I'll never forget the night he was on commentary and you came out and you looked right at him, and I thought he was going to piss himself. You go, shut your damn mouth!
Oh.
Yeah, I like to be in your face.
Those were definitely some fun times. One of the guys that WWA brought in, but I wish we would have gotten to see more of him, was one of Eric Freedom's students, and I think you and him would have had a good match, and I know you were there for the show that he was there. Gary the Freak. That guy, the gimmick was outstanding, and later on, he buffed up, I remember the first show, he wasn't a big buff guy, but he buffed up pretty nice, and it wasn't with juice or anything, and I think that you two, that would have been interesting. because he definitely, still to this day, if he were to come.
Sounds familiar, man, but I couldn't pick him out of a lineup. I mean, but if Eric Freedom was the guy who trained him and showed him the ropes, then he was taught right.
And you and Freedom had a strong bond because you and Freedom worked each other a lot. And Freedom probably had, I'm assuming, but I know this is probably correct, had a hand in training you because I know that he used to come down and help Tim with some of the guys.
Absolutely, yeah. Eric, when he would get a chance, would come down and, help with training and bring us along, give us advice, and that guy had a whole lot of experience too. I attribute, some of who I became to Eric Freedom, because without Eric Freedom, I wouldn't have turned into the guy that I am. So I definitely appreciate that, Eric. And if you're out there, maybe you can come to Heroes and Legends and we can catch up.
Nice. I mean, you have been around and longer than I've been around. You've been in the situations. You've got to work with some of the biggest names out there. But you've
on shows with.
Right.
Because I might not have worked them, but being in the locker room with some of those guys is just invaluable.
Right. Because you have been in locker rooms with Mosh and Jerry Lynn. Those are some of the ones that I know, other than King Kong Bundy and Jimmy Snuka that you mentioned.
King Kong Bundy, the Road Warriors, Jimmy Snuka, Nasty Boys. More recently, Nikita Koloff, One Man Gang.
Wicked. Nice.
Of course, Bob Orton Jr. And like you guys mentioned earlier, Jerry Lynn, another guy that was integral in some of his advice. Just being around guys like that, the Iron Sheik,
yes.
Just being around some of those guys can really do wonders for a young guy coming up.
So my question is, you've worked with all of these guys. Who is still on your bucket list?
Yeah. Who do you want in that ring over anybody else? Never mind anybody else. There's nobody but this one person. Nobody else exists.
Do they have to be active currently?
They don't have to be active. They don't even have to be alive.
Well, then it wouldn't work in the bucket list.
It's on a bucket list because they have to be alive. Wake up, Kate. Cut myself there.
Very true. Okay, well, let me look towards the new talent as far as the bucket list is concerned, and I think that me and Bray Wyatt will throw down.
Ooh. Man, I'm gonna get all Canadian on your ass, but that will be some sick. That'll be some sick, I tell you right now. Wow.
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt, he gets me. I'm telling you. Bray. I didn't like Bray Wyatt when he first came out. Sean will tell you this. He annoyed the living shit out of me, right? But after a while, especially once he had everybody's phones going all fucking crazy in the audience, I'm just like, you know what? I dig this guy. And I'm really glad he didn't go with his last persona. So, yeah, that's a mighty fine choice. He creeps the shit out of me.
Not a lot of people know this, but Bray Wyatt, if you actually take the logistics of it, Bray Wyatt is a breakdown between 1990s Undertaker and early 1990s Mankind, where he would be coming out and pulling his hair and talking to himself and rocking.
The bastard child of the two of them?
Yes.
Oh my
God. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Oh God. That's a good comparison.
That's some sick.
You know what would be great is if Paige turned out to be Sister Abigail.
Oh my God!
Oh jeez. Ooh.
Man, you would have to do this shit for a living.
Yeah. Well,
we'd like to welcome everybody to Wylde Championship Wrestling, the new WCW.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, Vince owns the rights to that. Never mind. We'll call it something else.
You know what they say, never
Right.
say never, right?
Right, exactly. Of course, Curtis, you know the story behind Sister Abigail, don't you?
No, I don't. Tell me.
No, I can't say that I do.
She was
Okay.
originally
I
supposed to
follow it,
be...
but not as diligently as I used to.
she was supposed to originally be Evelise Veliz.
Ooh.
Yep. Evie.
Baby.
Who
And
used to be Juliet the Huntress.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, Yeah,
she was
that
on
was-
Tough Enough. She was
Yeah.
on the last season of Tough Enough.
and she's 1/3 of the Lucha Underground Trios champions.
Which, if you've
Oh,
not
okay,
been
the
following... Yeah,
Female diva.
yes.
The
Right.
Female lucha.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. The anti-diva, yes. Well, that was one of the gimmicks that she used after she left developmental. And
Right.
So,
So,
I think that's kind of what she's going for now, is the whole anti-diva gimmick. That I hear that there may be something with the 4 horsewomen coming out of the gate. So maybe we'll see some of them women step up to the plate and come up to the big game.
yeah.
now, Curtis, we ask all of our fans this, but I want to twist this. Wednesday night, it's the new Wednesday Night Wars. You've got NXT, you've got Ring of Honor, you've got
Lucha
TNA,
Underground.
and you've got Lucha Underground. What are you watching, and what are you recording?
Well, the NXT I can watch at any point in time due to the network. So that's definitely on the record side, I guess you would say. Lucha Underground I see after the fact as well. And unfortunately, Ring of Honor, I don't have Destination America. So I'm not able to see Ring of Honor or TNA, but I keep up with the results, and from time to time, if something interests me, then I'll go find the video of it, because nothing stays off the internet.
Well, you're definitely going to want to see tonight's episode. We're going to break this story now. This is the only spoiler.
Going to break it. Jeff Jarrett appears.
Yes.
Yeah. And he's not the only. He is not the only surprise on that show tonight.
So we're not
Takeover.
the GFW takeover. Oh, hell no. That's exactly what it is, though, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to spoil too much. I haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet. We've been on air, and I won't have the TV on while I'm on air. It's a distraction. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank Curtis Wylde for coming on once again. It's been a privilege to have you on once again and be able to catch up and touch on some things and get you to weigh in on a couple of things. Do you have anything that you want to promote?
Well, I mean, I promote through the entirety of the podcast, if you can't tell with all the plugs and shit, but yeah, I mean, you can always check out curtiswylde.com, CURTISWYLDE. You can check out SICW.org. And you know, you can always go buy a shirt if you're one of those people that don't mind supporting the anti-fan favorite. You can always go buy a shirt at curtiswylde.spreadshirt.com, and then Wildfire's got her own shirt store at wildfire.spreadshirt.com, and that's the same, WYLDEFYRE. And, yeah, feel free to add our Facebook pages as well. Wildfires is facebook.com/#1Jinja, and that's Jinja, ninja with a G. Jinja. So,
Okay.
number 1 Jinja, and then you've got facebook.com/Wylde Online for my like page.
All right.
Excellent.
But it's been a blast, guys, just like it always is with you guys. So anytime you guys want me to come on or looking for a guest, feel free to hit me up. And if I've got something that I want to spread the word about, like my defeat of Sean Vincent this past weekend, then I will go ahead and give you guys a call, and we'll do this again, gentlemen.
And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, and we got one more thing for you, Curtis, before you go. But don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, if you're in the Indiana area, you can see Curtis Wylde debut for Heroes and Legends Wrestling, July 25th, I believe it is.
It is July 25th, and I'll be the weekend before that at SICW in East Carondelet at the East Carondelet Community Center on July 18th. So,
awesome. All right. Excellent.
And one more thing that we need you to do, Curtis, is we have all of our guests do it. You'll just say, hi, this is Curtis Wylde, and then whatever else you want to say. And you are listening to PWR Slam on MassDab.
I mean, that's the MassDab.
all right. I can do this. You want to count me in?
And 5,
4, 3, 2.
Hey, everybody, this is Curtis Wylde, and you are stepping on through to the wild side with PWR.MassDab.net. Getting wild like only they can.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent work, Curtis. Well, thank you very much, and tell Wildfire that we wish her the best in her competition, and we're rooting for her to get to the finals in full throttle.
I absolutely will, gentlemen, and ladies, have a great night.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye
You too,
now.
my friend. Take care.